Hey, what's up? I'm Technologics, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone SE. How does it perform a year later after release? So the iPhone SE was released only about a year ago in late March of 2016. So this means right off the bat, the phone is going to be very good. It's only a year old, there aren't going to be a ton of issues. But that does not necessarily make it worth buying in 2017, so we're going to take a closer look and determine whether or not it is worth buying in 2017. So right out of the gate, we're going to get started with the design. It looks great, but doesn't really look like a 2017 smartphone. In the era of bigger and better displays, the iPhone SE falls behind as it has a relatively small screen and less than stellar resolution. But hold up, before you get the wrong impression, I'm not bashing this phone, not by any means. In my personal opinion, while this phone is definitely a 5-ish year old design, it still looks really good even today, even if it doesn't look like a 2017 phone. It has a very premium squarish aluminum build, and it feels really comfortable to hold. That's partly because of the small screen. It's easier to hold, and you can touch everything on the screen much simpler than, say, an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus. It's also very light, which is a nice added benefit. It comes in the colors gold, silver, gray, and rose gold. Does it look as modern as the iPhone 6 and beyond with its more curved, rounded look? No, but it definitely does the job well, and there's a lot of benefits to the smaller form factor. The smartphone industry today has left people who prefer small screens behind, opting instead for sometimes unnecessarily large phones. And if you want a large phone, that's fine, but there are a lot of people who still want small phones too. The iPhone SE fits in the hand just fine, as I said before, or at least my hand, and yeah, especially compared to pretty much any newer iPhone. It has a 4-inch screen with a resolution of 1136 by 640, which is a bit under 720p, but you won't really notice because the pixel density is still really good at 326 pixels per inch. So for most people, everything on the screen will look sharp and clean, which is a necessity for any smartphone today. So no complaints. While it doesn't match up with, say, the Galaxy S8, and frankly no iPhone does right now, it's still fine for an iPhone, and most people won't experience any issues with it. This phone, again, is small, meaning it's made for that niche of people who desire small screens. If you're not in that niche, I'd recommend going for the iPhone 6 or 6S, as the larger display is definitely a nice thing to have. And with that, let's get into base specifications. So you can buy this phone at 16, 32, 64, or 128 gigabytes. Now here's the deal. Technically, the 16 and 64 gigabyte models have been discontinued by Apple. You can still find them, as Apple did sell them for a year, but now they've been upgraded without a price increase to more storage, with the lowest being 32 gigabytes and the highest being 128 gigabytes. So essentially, it used to be if you wanted the cheapest option, it would be 16 gigabytes, and the most expensive would be 64, and now the lowest is 32 and most expensive 128. This is great in my opinion. There's no price increase, so that's perfect if you're buying new, which is I think probably for most people, and I think a lot of us can agree that 16 gigabytes isn't really enough for anybody who uses their iPhone a lot. However, you can still find the 16 gigabytes, and they're quite a bit cheaper on eBay than the 32, in some cases anyway, so that's pretty good. The iPhone SE contains an A9 processor and 2 gigabytes of RAM. This phone is extremely speedy on iOS 10. It runs great with no issues whatsoever. Everything will be quick, and there won't be any issues. While it doesn't really match the iPhone 7, it does the iPhone 6S, and so there's no real reason to complain here, especially at that price, which we will get to a little later here. The camera quality is top-notch, with 12 megapixels and the ability to film 4K at 30 frames per second. This here is some example footage, and to be fair, this isn't in great lighting, so it probably won't look the clearest, but it's still not that bad, and is perfectly acceptable, at least in my opinion. The selfie camera, on the other hand, isn't very good, at 1.2 megapixels with 720p video, but unless you're very self-absorbed and love taking high-quality pictures of yourself, there's no reason to care. So let's sum everything up so far. We have a good camera, very good camera. We have good specs, it's going to be very fast. We've got a nice design. We've got a fair display. So far, so good, right? There's no real problems with this phone. And that's kind of the main idea I want to push forward here. There aren't really problems with this phone. It's a very nice phone right now. Now, I would have to guess that there is going to be a refresh of it next year. That's kind of just a guess. I actually have no idea. Alright, so should you buy this phone in 2017? Well, yeah. I don't honestly see why not, other than that it could get updated soon, relatively soon. It's a very nice phone, and even with the small form factor, it's still a very capable device. You know, it's the budget option if you're going to go to iOS. Now, if you do want a bigger screen, I would, as I said earlier, I would recommend going for the iPhone 6. The iPhone 6 is around the same price you'll find, at least used. So if you're getting the iPhone SE, you are getting the better phone, to an extent anyway. It's smaller. That's really the only difference. It's smaller, it is a bit thicker, and I'm not sure about the weight. I'd imagine it's probably a little heavier, but the size is the biggest difference. So if you're okay with getting a small phone, this is the best iPhone you can buy right now for the price. It's a very, very good price point. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've mentioned the price. The price new is about $400 if you're going off of Apple's website, I believe. So again, very good price point. Totally should get that. If you're gonna get it used, I saw it as cheap as I think $200 on eBay or $250, and that was for refurbished and for 16 gigabytes. But still, that's a crazy price point. That's all I've got for you guys. Yeah, is it worth it? Yes, definitely worth it. Just make sure you're okay with the small screen. That's all I got. If I'm talking really fast, it's because I'm drinking a Starbucks Frappuccino while doing this, so I might be a little bit caffeined up here. I don't have coffee that often, but anyway. I'm so sorry for the lack of videos lately. I wanna fix that. I could give you tons of excuses, but I'm not gonna bother because, why would you care? I'm just a random person on the internet. So, thanks so much for watching. Please hit that like button if this helped you at all. You could hit the dislike button if you didn't like it, but just to let you know, people who hit the dislike button have been known to spontaneously combust within 2 days after doing so. So, might not be a good idea. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, then, well, you're awesome. Okay, thanks again, and I will see you all next time.